Mr. Secretary, President Biden said 3 days ago that if Russia invades, they will have chosen war and the door to diplomacy will be closed. Today, however, he seemed to have left the door open for diplomacy despite labeling what Russia has done as an invasion. And so even though you've now canceled your meeting with Minister Lavrov, can you say what the circumstances would entail to justify talks at this point, absent, say, a full withdrawal? Does the actions in Donbass kind of open the door for potential negotiations? And on that point, if you would both indulge me with two questions. President Putin today also said that the crisis could be resolved if Kiev promised to abandon future efforts to join NATO. And so that's been a non-starter for the West. So what needs to happen then for any of these talks to actually be entertained? Minister Kuleba, good to see you again. Quick questions for you. Does the Ukrainian government have any plans to evacuate Mariupol or Kharkiv in the coming days, just given the events that we've seen in Donbass? And secondly, the United States has informed the United Nations of credible information showing that Moscow has compiled a list of Ukrainians to be killed or sent to camps following a military occupation. Were you informed of this list? Your government, was it informed of this list? And have any actions been taken to respond to it? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy to start. First, the further renewed Russian invasion of Ukraine that has now begun means clearly that the idea of having a meeting this week with Foreign Minister Lavrov to pursue diplomacy now rejected by Russia, does not make sense. But having said that, to the extent there is anything that we can do to avert an even worse case scenario, an all-out assault on all of Ukraine, including its capital, that would inflict horrific costs on the Ukrainian people, we will always pursue that. So we, our partners, remain open to diplomacy, but Moscow needs to demonstrate that it's serious. The last 24 hours, it's demonstrated just the opposite. It hasn't been serious to date, including with regard to the meeting that was planned for Thursday. We made clear that in the context of a Russian invasion, we would not go forward with that meeting. If Moscow's approach changes, I remain very much prepared to engage. With regard to President Putin's statement about NATO and the open door, it's very clear what we've seen in the last 24 hours that this has never been about Ukraine and NATO per se. What President Putin has made clear is that this is about the total subjugation of Ukraine to Russia. It's about reconstituting the Russian Empire, or short of that, a sphere of influence, or short of that, the total neutrality of countries surrounding Russia. And so the issue of Ukraine and NATO has really been an argument, an excuse to mask the fact that what this is about is President Putin's view that Ukraine is not a sovereign country, that it does not have an existence or independence, not associated in some fashion with Russia, a proposition that we not only firmly reject, but so does virtually every Ukrainian.